Hey LeGrand Alive, this is Coffee with Will, brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Anything 2 Digital, EO&I, and Les Schwab Tire Center. And I'm here today in the studio for the second time with Erin Watts, who is the leader of the Union County Young Life. She is here today to talk to us a little bit about her organization, who they are, what they do, and sort of their philosophy for reaching out to kids who, as she has put it, fall through the cracks. So thank you so much, Erin, for coming in and chatting with me for the second time. We actually, a little bit of a fun behind the scenes fact, we have done this Coffee with Will before. However, Will, in all his infinite space cadetiness, somehow deleted the file, and so here we are again for the second time, recording the video with Erin. So
second time's the charm.
Second time is the charm. So thank you so much for being so patient with us, Erin, and
Thanks for
coming
having
back
me back
in. So that being said, why don't you tell me a little bit about what is Young Life? What do you guys do? And how did you get involved with Young Life?
So Young Life, to start off, I guess I'll say, is like a lot of things that people see is like, oh, you do like a club every week and like do activities with kids or take them to camp. And those are all things that Young Life does really well. But Young Life in itself that's not the heart of it. The heart of Young Life is adults going into the worlds of kids and just building relationships with them and just like doing life with them. And so in that, we kind of earn that privilege to then say, hey, like come to our programs or come to our events. But what we really try to establish before anything else is just that relationship with kids, just where they're at, and high school students specifically is where our focus is right now.
Yeah.
So I got involved about almost 4 years ago now by a friend of mine, Cole Clemens, who passed away last year.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh man, you would love this, like you got to do it. So I go in and sit in this meeting, and they're just talking about, like, the guy sharing, he was just saying, like, there's kids that, like, I knew 20 years ago that, I walked through life with them in high school, and, like, we still have this relationship as adults. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then aside from that, like, there's a lot of fun that goes with it, too. Yeah. And I'm a exuberant person or whatever. I like
no,
yeah.
You seem like an introvert to me.
Yeah, I hate talking.
Doesn't she seem like an introvert, like man alive?
Yeah,
just like I'm an introvert too.
Yeah, same. So just like getting to kind of be crazy and have fun with kids and like do goofy skits and stuff. Like I was just like, yeah, and then it's scary though. Like I get nervous too, especially if there's kids I don't know, and I'm just like, hey, I'm Erin. They're like, you're crazy, but I win them over, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just being friends. So that's really it.
So that relationship piece of it. We talk. A lot of Christian organizations talk about relationship. Why is that important in your brain?
I would say because there's something about being known and being seen that people like, and that's just humans, that like we're geared toward that. And I think that can get really lost, especially in programs that are like really focused, like that are for kids. Like it's easy to get lost in like the program aspect of it instead of focusing on the relationship. So I always try to bring that like back to the top and just not lose sight, because that's what's gonna change someone's life, is just feeling known.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that kind of brings up another question. So, like, I would say that probably a lot of leaders of Christian and religious organizations struggle with that. And I know that I'm involved.
It takes hard work.
I'm involved in church stuff, and it's always difficult, finding that balance of like, okay, well, we do want more people there, but keeping your brain, being like, okay, bring it back.
Yeah.
How do we keep focused on, connection with the individuals that are here?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And so I wonder if you have any thoughts on that, or it's like ways you found to keep in that.
I think, well, they say, like, it's said that, like, vision needs to be recasted, like, at least every, like, 5 to 7 days, because you're, like, losing sight of it. And, I even see that in my life of, like, I walk into a room and, like, wait, why did I come in here? But, that's really it. Like, it is a struggle, and relationships take work and they're hard. But just keeping that alive of, like, why are we here? What are we doing? Okay, we're here for these kids. If there's 100, if there's 1. That kid wants to be known and they matter. Like the value, it's like, oh, cool, there's a lot of people here, but then the value is that individual. So I guess you just have to keep that in mind and not make it about yourself, and just remember, like, why am I here? So I guess that's how. I don't have like an equation for it.
Well, dang, I was really hoping to come out of this with a mathematical equation
I know,
for this
that's not
kind
my
of
thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that Young Life is doing in the Valley right now.
Well, right now we do our like weekly Young Life Club, which is just like a crazy fun night for like we're like, every kid come, like if you're in high school, come on down, like you're welcome. And that's like what a lot of people see and they're like, oh, that's Young Life. And it's just like I said, one of the things that we do. And then we'll do like a homework night every other week. And that's again a thing that we're like, hey, everyone just like come do your homework, hang out. If you don't have homework, still come, just don't distract your friends.
Yeah.
And so it's cool because we just get to spend time with them and like just know about their lives and where they're at. And then you'll see us on campus at school. Like I go for lunch, at least twice a week to the schools. And then like at sporting events, which right now they're kind of, basketball just ended for us for COVID Union. And so baseball and like track and stuff is starting. So they're in practice phase right now. So not a lot of games to go to, but they'll be coming soon. So
yeah,
maybe some choir concert. I don't know. You guys need to tell me if you have anything. I just tell them, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, LeGrand Alive, you need to tell us what's going on out there.
Just the kids.
Just the kids, yeah, kids. Tell her, she's the one that needs to know.
I need to know. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about this idea of, going to the kids where they are. Why is that important for you, and how do you actively seek to do that?
So in high school, like especially in that, like adolescence is like a crazy, like we were talking about that earlier, like a really crazy time of life. And kids in that phase, there's kind of like three like quests or like questions that they're kind of asking and trying to discover. And that's, who am I? Where do I belong? And what's my purpose? And so I don't know if this is even answering your question.
That's okay. Keep going with it.
Like,
whatever
so
it is,
really,
it's good.
Like try to step into that and say, like, and this, I guess it does, because it's like coming where they're at. It's like you matter where you're at, not by what you do, not by what's happened to you, or what you accomplish or fail at or whatever. Like those things don't define you. You matter because you exist. So stepping in there and kind of hopefully providing an answer to that question. It's not the only answer, but it's a part of it. Like hey, you matter. And giving them a place where they belong. That there might be kids that like there's drama or whatever, but if we can all come together in a place, and even if those things are there, just be together, because it's like you all belong. Like we all have areas in our life where we feel like we don't fit in, and so here we want to make sure you all fit in. And then purpose, I mean, we are faith-based, and whether kids believe in Jesus or not, like my philosophy, and like I think what through Young Life that we do well is saying like God loves you and he's crazy about you, and you matter, and there's hope. If you don't believe that, that's not going to change my relationship with you, because I'm still going to be here in your life. But if you do, there's something more. This isn't just it. And so even kids that maybe they're like, okay, that's cool, like I don't really believe that. I think it's just that mindset of having hope, because it can feel, I think, kind of hopeless sometimes in high school. And I mean, I'm sure I've even been there and had my struggles. And so to know that someone loves me just because I'm there and I don't have to impress them or get them to like me, like that's really God's heart toward us. It's easy to think, oh, we have to do things like to make God like me, but it's not. So we really try to keep like that. I mean, that's something that's so impactful to me. So I'm like, I want to present that to you, and just be that in your life.
Yeah. I once heard something that was, we give to other people the thing that we want to know, or it was a phrase that we want to know for ourselves the most, kind of thing. And I think in ministry, a lot of times that's true as well. We really want to give to other people the thing that we want to learn the most from God ourselves.
That is so true. Like, I feel like maybe this sounds weird, but like I at least administrate, like perform best, like out of my own brokenness, or like things that God's doing in me and like showing me. I'm like, hey, I want to share this with you guys. And that's way more impactful than me just like trying to give some information and like, hey, just this is true. Here you go. It's like, hey, this is how my life has been affected, and this is the hope that I have, and that the name of hope is Jesus. Like, so, yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Like, riled up on it, like passionate. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like hope is kind of a thing for you. Like it sounds like that. And I can understand that because, you know, in that time of life, it's so interesting because the kids are so young, yet they are so broken for hope a lot of times. You know, it just seems so hopeless, you know, and so having a bastion of hope could be something that would be really powerful for them, you know.
And I think teenagers are often faced with a lot of really like adult consequences, like, you know, kind of, and things that they're like, oh, you know, like they're making choices that they might not fully, you know, understand like the bigger effects of it and stuff like that. And so it's just to be a friend and like help them process that and help them navigate like whatever, you know. I'm not even thinking of anything specific, but it's just like there's a lot of pressure, I guess, in some ways for them to feel like, okay, I gotta have it figured out. It's like, no, it's okay. Like I don't have it figured out half the time either, and that's okay to be there. Like, don't feel like you need to fix yourself or something. Like just be you. It's gonna be okay.
It's kind of funny. My editor Katie and I oftentimes joke that the only difference between a professional and a non-professional is that the professional just gets paid to make mistakes. And I think that the same thing could be necessarily said about ministry.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about sort of the foundation behind that. Now, what does the future of Young Life look like? And this is kind of like, and you can think
These
about
are like
this.
my dreams.
Like what direction would you, I mean, you are the director, so what's your vision? Speaking of recaching vision, what's your vision for Young Life?
I would say that right now we're kind of in a phase where there's kids that they're saying, I want more, like I want to do more, like I want to be closer to Jesus, you know, or whatever, and they're like kind of in that phase. So we're really trying to like give them a chance of something to grow into. And we've been wanting to start like a middle school ministry for a long time, but it's just about manpower and timing. So I have to sit back and go, okay, like I can't see the big picture. I'm not in control. I can try to work towards something, but ultimately God's the one that's in control. But our kind of like our thought process is maybe over the summer of kind of building up a team of student leaders and then seeing if we can put on like a middle school. And with middle schoolers, it's different because they're younger, like they're little kids, you know. I'm like, high schoolers are easier for me, but I think middle schoolers are so like funny and they're their own like, I don't know, they're like little kids, but they're like, their brains are, you know, they're more interactive.
They're not quite old enough to be an adult, but not quite young enough not to be dangerous.
Exactly. And so we really want to try to put something on for them, like maybe, you know, by the month, like next school year, just do like a monthly, kind of like middle school night or something. So that's my idea. Will it happen? I don't know, but we're going to work toward it, and it'll be clear, like if it's supposed to happen, we'll know. So
that's awesome.
We'll see. Yeah.
Very cool. So that's pretty cool. So I think we're kind of coming here in and out of time. So the last thing I'd like to chat with you about, you have a fundraiser that's kind of coming up here right now. So why don't you tell the Grand Alive, look right at the camera and tell, you know, what is the fundraiser that's coming up? Okay.
So April 28th, actually Blue Mountain Barber Shop in La Grande is hosting a haircut drive for us. So, you know, I'll be there. Maybe you'll be there. No,
I might be there. God knows I need some haircuts sometimes. My fiance tells me that all the time.
She's like, just go. No. So it's really cool because the barbershop, like, they just really loved what we do, and we're like, we want to support you. And so they started it last year, and it'll be on a Saturday, and the barbers will come in and like they work for free and donate the money from the haircuts to Young Life. So we'll have kids there, like, you know, doing signs out on the streets and maybe sweeping up hair or something like that. And then it was cool. This couple donated like a bunch of ground beef to us. So we're going to do a chili feed too.
Ooh.
So even if you can't get your hair cut, because it'll be men's haircuts and like little boys, but even if you're not a man or a little boy, you can come get some chili. They're going to put on a raffle for us. Like, it's cool because they really own this event for us. We kind of just like provide a few things and show up. So it's it's really cool. And that's like relationships again. Like it goes bigger than just the kids. It's like people, you know, people that we meet, us. Like it's really neat. So yeah. So April 28th, haircut drive. Blue Mountain Barbers from 9 to 2. Yeah. That's
Right on
really
Adams
fun.
Avenue, right next to Century 21 and
Wind down.
Wind Down. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me
you.
today and sharing your heart and everything. That's
Thanks.
I really appreciate you coming in and chatting with me.
I appreciate just the platform to like talk about what I'm passionate about. So thank you for your questions.
It is absolutely our pleasure.
Yeah.
And thank you, LeGrand Alive, for tuning in to Coffee with Will, brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Grand Ron Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, and Les Schwab Tire Center. Please, if you have a chance, thank these people for their sponsorship. We couldn't bring you these awesome interviews without them. They're really great, and they put a lot of money into helping us to continue to bring you broadcasting, so thank them. Please like and share the video and tune into legrandalive.tv for more local content. I'm Will Bowman. Good.
Yeah.
Good job,
that was
man.
fun.
That was fun. Thank you for coming in and chatting.
Cheers.
The second time. No, I think, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed hearing you talk about the kids,